The following podcast is taken from a live broadcast on Inspire FM.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Kube with Sister Jamilah.
Good morning and assalamu alaikum. It is Monday 15th of July and the time is 10 o'clock exactly. You're listening to Jamilah taking you all the way up to 12 o'clock on the Urban Kube show, brought to you where else? On Inspire FM, of course. Beaming out to the wonderful people across Luton surrounding areas, Peterborough and Sheffield this morning. Massive big salams to you wonderful people. Have you recovered from the weekend, guys? My goodness. It's been a tremendous weekend for sports, or what? My goodness. I'm still recovering from England bringing the World Cup home. How magnificent is that? Awesome. And what makes it even more special was the fact that the team is so multi-diverse, you know, so inspiring. Mashallah. If you watch the match, do share with me your thoughts. What was the experience like for you, knowing that England has brought the World Cup home? Now, Bury Park was quite loud last night in the afternoon with the celebrations in and around the town. Was very interesting to hear and also see on social media. But England wasn't the only winners. They brought the World Cup. There was a tremendous wins in boxing and also Formula One as well. So Britain is doing great internationally with the sports and stuff. Oh gosh, it rhymed. So I am, as always, looking forward to having a conversation with some awesome creatives on the show this morning. You can catch the conversations not just across the airwave, but also on Facebook Live. Facebook Live is open and ready on the comment section. So please do join in with the conversations today. Now, the conversations on the show today are obviously creatively inspired. And I hope they'll motivate you with the journeys that my awesome guests are going to be sharing with you this morning. Now, we're also going to be asking the question regarding National Youth Skills Day. Yes, today is National Youth Skills Day. Now, the whole purpose of this day is to kind of encourage young people and industries to kind of think about how to upskill young people. Now, it's super important that young people are upskilled whilst they're studying, because interestingly, research has suggested that 3 out of 5 young people don't have the right type of skills, or not upskilled enough when they enter employment in comparison to adults. So the question I would like to ask you guys this morning, if you could talk to your younger self, if you were able to go back a good 10, 15 or 20 years, what sort of skills would you suggest to yourself to do? And if you're a young person, what type of skills do you feel that you need to kind of improve your mark in the world of employment? So that's the question this morning, guys. If you could ask your younger self, how could you improve upskilling, really? What would you do? What advice would you give yourself to upskill? Because it's National Upskill Day for young people today. Now, the show you're listening to, folks, is the Urban Kube. And to get in contact with us, as always, it's 07779 481822. Back to the show, guys. It is 4 minutes past 10, and I'm not alone in the studio, because if you're on Facebook Live, you'll get to see who's in the studio with me. I have an amazing local sister in the studio who's super inspiring. I'm absolutely delighted to invite no other than the very fabulous Hasna Mumen in the studio, who is a professional makeup artist and hairstylist, who's going to be talking to me about some really interesting seasonal looks. So we'll be catching up with her very, very shortly. Now, apart from Hasna, I'm also joined by 2 other 4 awesome guests all the way from London and over the phone. I'm going to be talking to no other than Jamilah L, who at the age of 18 has already made her spoken word career and mark in some of the renowned theatre spaces across London, and she's going to be sharing some live poetry reading with me this morning, as well as talking about a new poetry platform that she's actually created specifically for women. She started poetry at the age of 12, and now at the age of 18, still a mere 18, she is making her mark in some of the most outstanding spaces. For example, Hackney Theatre, she's performed at Gnome House, Stratford Theatre, and The Word. Wow, how awesome is that? She's not the only remarkable woman on the show this morning. I'm also joined by no other than the visual artist, renowned visual artist, sculptor and art activist Shahida Ahmed, to talk to me about Full Circle, her exhibition that she launched in Lahore. She's a British artist that launched her exhibition in Lahore. How exciting is that? Lahore seems to be the place to be. But right now, folks, we're in Luton and I'm not alone. I'm joined by no other than Hasna. Assalamu alaikum, Hasna.
Assalamu alaikum, Shamaisa. It's a pleasure to be on the show. So thank you for having me. I'm really, really excited.
Bless you. Yeah. And I'm super excited to have you because I've been following your work for ages, and you're an artist yourself, but makeup artistry. And today this show is a celebration of the creative journeys from poetry to visual art to makeup artistry. Every girl needs to know these skills, right?
It's a work of art. I mean, whether it's painting, whether it's makeup, it's all work of art.
And how did your journey begin?
Well, my journey began, to be honest, it was I was into managerial before, and then I had my second child, so I took a back gap. She was born with various neuromuscular disorders, so she was in and out of hospital. 6 months she was in hospital, and then throughout the 2 years she had a tube in her airways. She had an NG tube as well. So, wow. I mean, they offered me, the company offered me managerial position. They said, the job is yours, but we're not going to even take the interview. But I said, no, I need to extend my maternity leave. Right. Because obviously my daughter, she needs full care. It's not just few hours, 24 hours, because she wasn't really breathing on her own. She needed the tube to breathe. So she had no voice. So when she was crying, we couldn't tell. It was just expression. She had no sound whatsoever. So even to go to the loo, my husband was working in the evening as well. So even to go to the bathroom, I had to take her in a bouncer. My oldest was 4.5, 5 years. So even take the bouncer by the bathroom, because if the tube got blocked, she could just stop breathing. So you had to be with her 24 hours a day. I mean, I did have carers. Initially, I should have had 7 nights care, but because of funding and everything, I only ended up with 3 nights. That wasn't enough, because then it was catching up. And even though it was me and my husband, it was really, really tough. But financially, obviously, where I had to give up work as well, we moved into a new house. Both of us couldn't give up work. We had our family business, but with the rent and everything, you couldn't. One of us has to be working. So that was my sort of journey. I kind of took a break. It was just being the mother to my 2 children, one with severe complex medical condition. But I think it was from that I was because I was at home all the time, it was I was just watching I was really into QVC, the makeup shows and everything. I've always been passionate about makeup from the age of sort of 13. But I can't imagine going home and telling my dad or mom, I want to be a makeup artist. What? It was all about being a doctor, lawyer, teacher. And I know I wanted to be a teacher, but then something kind of, didn't go ahead with that. So I never took it seriously, but even during the high school, college time, the flicked black liner, it was just basically the liner and the lipstick then in the 90s. It wasn't all about contouring or the blushes or anything. So it was a flicked black liner. So I used to get compliments on that a lot, oh, would you show me how to do it, from friends and everything. My bag did have a little makeup kit and everything. So I would show my friends and I would do makeup for them and everything. My best friend, she got married sort of at quite an early age, 20. So with my little makeup kit bag, just my own personal makeup, she's like, would you mind doing my makeup? And I'd done her makeup for her wedding. It wasn't a massive wedding, a family and friends. And then I had people saying, oh, can you do my makeup for the wedding? And
so it started off just by accident?
Well, at that time, I didn't take it seriously. Right. That was in my 20s. I didn't take it seriously at all. I was into retail management and everything. But I never took it seriously. I never thought I would go down that route. So it was until sort of I had my second child and I was at home, I was experimenting with makeup because that's all I had, like to be at home. Like I couldn't have friends and family over because she was prone to infection. So even if they were sneezing, coughing, they weren't allowed in the house. Literally, we were literally washing our hands all the time. If anyone came in, they had to wash their hands. They couldn't go near her because
a tremendous...
she would just pick up every single bug. The house had to be spotless all the time.
And is that why you said your hands seem quite burnt? Because the hot water that you're using all the time?
I always use warm water. Well, not even warm, hot water to do the washing. I'm trying to cut down, but it's like you can see my hands are like different colour to my face and body. But yeah, so that was really tough. And I started like experimenting with different looks. I started ordering makeup. I think it was a sign of depression as well because I was just constantly shopping makeup. But it's not a bad thing because I started experimenting. And that's when
so you're using those products?
Yeah, just on myself, different looks. I was using it on my friends, families, my nieces, sisters. I was just creating different looks. And it wasn't until my early 30s, that's when I said, no, actually, maybe I should start that off as a career. And it's something I'm so passionate about. It's something that comes naturally. But I don't want to be like, just start it off like trained by myself and all that. I thought, no, I need someone to train me just to get the bridal look and the trends of the bridal looks and party. And in general, just to have someone that's going to train me, professional makeup artist. Then I trained with Lubna Rafiq. And that's when it started.
Because she's the queen of makeup artistry back in the day.
I searched for months and months and months. And every time I just kept going back to her. I thought, no.
But now there's a wealth of people out there who've actually used this, these skills. And it's a lot of mums at home who've actually really taken on board this and using that to balance like motherhood and working life as well.
We have some amazing artists and, every one of us have our own touch. You may get trained with various people, and I think it's such a good thing not to actually stop learning. You should always get yourself trained.
Because the looks always change, because what they had in the 90s to what we have now in 2019, very, very different.
Yeah, I mean, in the 90s, how we done our makeup, it wasn't all, foundation. It wasn't about... To be honest, it wasn't like the blusher, the contouring, the highlighting.
None of that.
None of that.
None of that. I remember doing my own wedding makeup. Yeah. I didn't hire anyone. And, I look at the pictures and it's like I've got my eyelashes falling down. My eyebrows not filled in.
Yeah,
the lip liner's all crooked. But hey,
that's how it was.
That's how it was.
That's how it was.
And but now you have to take out a little mini mortgage to pay for the makeup artist. Why are they so expensive?
Good question. But the thing is, Shahida, you've got to think that how we invest in our kit, we have like selection from dark skin to light skin, foundation, concealers. Then we have the eyeshadows, the blushes, the contouring items. We have the skincare. I mean, that is such a must. I mean, we don't just go in. Each artist is different, as I said, but skincare is so important. So it's about toning, moisturising, making sure the skin is all
primed.
prepped.
It's called priming, isn't it? And so that priming is basically making sure the surface of the skin is flat.
It's not literally a 2-minute job to get the skin, prep the skin. So it's exfoliating, moisturising, just getting the skin. That takes a lot of time. Then you layer on the makeup. So, and then we've got insurance, we've got the travelling cost.
So there's insurance? What's the insurance for?
It's for your kit. Lost, stolen. Insurance for client insurance as well. So, if something was to happen to a client's skin and all that, they fully insure.
So it's a proper professional job then?
I mean, probably everyone hasn't got insurance, I don't know. But it's I think it's a must to be safe in all the areas and everything. And it's just the travelling as well, because even to do a bride, for example, if a bride was in London, I mean, it's your whole day.
Okay.
Because and it's not just on the day. You're having a consultation. You're liaising with the bride throughout the time. Your her outfits, her photographer. You talking with the photographer, the videographer, where they're going to be. So it depends how far you want to take it.
It's actually quite a long, lengthy process.
I think the makeup artists don't get the credit that they should, because it is about how the bride's going to look, or the bridesmaids, or even party events. it is all about your hair and makeup and how you present yourself.
Because she
and
wants to
everything.
be beautiful on the most
Yes.
special day
And it's
of
not-
her life.
Yeah, you listen to the client, you give your own advice, and then you work together.
Do you ever feel nervous that, oh my gosh, what if I get it wrong?
At first you do, but I think once you're like in the flow and confident with your work and how much you're charging, because if you're a new makeup artist, obviously you're not going to be charging like a grand, because that's just not making sense.
Is that
You
how
have
much they
to-
charge? Up
That
to a
was just
grand? Okay. I bet they do.
That's
I heard they do.
Experiences,
Wow.
so it's different charges. It all depends on what you believe in yourself and you know how much. So are you able to charge that much? So
Okay.
you have to question yourself. If you're doing, you know, if you're kind of doing the same looks in, out, in, you know, the same hairstyles and everything, are you learning? Are you
But what
learning new
makes
techniques?
each makeup artist unique from the other? Because all the brides, to me, look exactly the same. They have the same attention to detail to the eyes. They're going for the same shade of lipstick. They're going for the similar
Because
like tone
the
of
bridal
skin
looks
color.
is quite traditional, because
Okay.
we have our sort of red, maroon. I mean, there are some brides that are going and wearing different colours now
Okay.
over the last sort of
I'm
couple
seeing a lot of
years.
silver and grey and
I've
white.
seen like black.
Ooh.
I've seen
Okay.
I've seen a black as well, and it actually looks really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen like purples and deep pinks and navy blues.
So is that the season look for this summer, do you think? Are
It's-
people going for whatever they feel like?
whatever. There's no like, it's not compulsory that you have
Mm-hmm.
to go for red, even though I do love red. But actually, my sister was just telling me a while ago, Islamically, the bridal colour is white. I never
Right.
knew that.
Oh, okay.
Because we've always
Interesting.
saw like red.
I suppose red may come back to sort of pre-partition and India and Hinduism. That culture, that influence.
We've never really sort of worn white. Like it's always been sort of red, maroon traditionally.
Right.
But that's actually traditional cultural.
I think white
thing.
is nice on a nikah. I think it's
Nikah,
quite
yeah,
angelic.
Some do nikah and registry they do, but actually, I'm not sure if it's sunnah or. But she said that it's. I was just shocked to hear
I
it.
don't know.
I'm like,
If
I
anybody
didn't know
knows,
that.
why don't you get in touch with us on 07779 481 822. Now, Hasna is in the studio with me this morning. She is a professional makeup artist. We've had the pleasure of listening to her share her journey at how, as somebody who is in a managerial position, had to kind of take a step back and prioritise her children. Bless her, she's a mother of a child with a medical condition, mashallah. You know, I'm so inspired by you, Hasna. I don't know how you've been able to balance looking after your daughter in such difficult circumstances, but also looking so radiant and so
thank
relaxed
you.
and giving so much to the community, because you're also a community activist. You're very passionate about not just sharing your love for your professional interest in makeup artistry and hairstyling, but also you're part of like the Women Connecting Women organisation as well, which I'm sure you guys have heard me mention literally every session, every radio show. But I think it's really important to bring the women from this organisation and share their stories with us, which are so remarkably different. Different, mashallah. And we're going to be finding out a little bit why it's important to have women from so many different backgrounds coming together with this organisation. Guys, today's topic is about National Youth Upskilling. It's actually a celebration today of encouraging employers and young people to kind of upskill. And I want to ask you guys, if you had to ask your younger self on how you would have maybe sort of organised yourself a little bit better, maybe made yourself a little bit more employable, what would you have done? What would you have wished you have had done maybe 10, 15 or 20 years ago? Contact us on 07779 481 822. Now, also, if you've got any advice or tips from that you want to find out from Hasna, I'm sure she's willing to answer them. Hasna, I want to ask you, my dear, upskilling. If you had to ask yourself or speak to your younger self, you had the opportunity to do, what would you have said to yourself?
I would definitely say follow your passion, no question asked. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I like when I was doing my GCSEs and then going to college and all that, it was still, the stigma was still there, like approval of your family, your relatives. It was just like doctors,
still is.
lawyers. It still is there, but I think it was
Right.
worse. So I never took it seriously. I never thought like, you know, I could be a makeup artist or a hairstylist, because it wasn't just a serious career. It wasn't a career at all.
Right.
It was just something that you like doing, as every female likes to do. So that is definitely, I would suggest to all the youngsters out there, whatever your passion is, don't be afraid to go and talk to your parents. I mean, parents, they might not come around the first time, because they may still have like, okay, I want my son or daughter to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. But talk to them, tell them how you feel, tell them what makes you happy. I mean, my daughter, she wants to be a designer, but then she wants to be a lawyer.
Okay.
So that's two completely different.
But she could be working in an industry balancing both.
Yeah,
because
so that's what I said. You could, if you want to, you could do the law, but then you could have your designing career as well at the same time. But you have to, so she was really confused. She's like, no, Mum, then at uni, maybe I'll have to start off with arts again, arts and design, and then work my way up. And I said, that's fine. Whatever you want to do. But because she's been confused, so that's another tip. I told her, like, I gave her like 90 seconds. Actually put a timer on your phone. 90 seconds. Write down everything you're passionate about.
Oh, wow. In 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
Why did you give 90 seconds?
90 seconds is actually your conscious mind is aware that 90 seconds. Then after the 90 seconds, your subconscious mind starts criticizing. So, for example, it's very critical, your subconscious mind, because your conscious mind is just the tip of the iceberg, and the rest is all your subconscious mind, the critical side. You're not good enough. You're not going to be able to do that. Are you crazy to be a designer, makeup artist? No one's going to take you serious. It's all the critical thinking. So within that 90 seconds, whatever you're passionate about, whatever you want to inspire people, what you love doing, you just write everything down, what makes you happy. And one thing I've said to her is write down as well what you want to do for the community, because it's not always about you. It's about the community. Oh, someone has told me that when I was like
wow,
teenager.
but now you're sharing that experience with your daughter, which is such a beautiful thing to do, because one of the greatest thing that I've come across whilst doing this show is the fact that a number of young people have said that their mothers are their role model.
Yeah.
Rather than a professional person, but it's their mothers and following their journey. And
it's amazing. It's so beautiful because, you know, my daughter, someone asked her that, who's your inspiration and all that, but I expected her to say, you know, some celebrity or some actor she's following or whatever. But she's like, no, my mum, she's my biggest inspiration.
Mashallah.
She inspires me to do everything. She supports me in everything. My dad, but obviously dad's not always around.
Right.
But mum. And I was all teary. It's
bless you.
A beautiful thing to say.
And it sure is. And, you know, this is so wonderful. I can see why she considers you a role model, because considering how you have to balance your life, you still take time out for your daughter, because it's very difficult to kind of be able to give an able-bodied child enough attention when you've also got a child that has difficulties as well.
She's got recently, over the last sort of 3 years, she's been diagnosed with epilepsy as well. So I've got two.
Wow.
So it's been really hard. It was during her GCSEs time as well. She kept having seizures sort of every 3 to 6 weeks. I mean, I openly talk about that because I think it is so important.
Of course
not
it is.
to hide it.
Yes.
To help one another. I mean, other parents as well. I'm part of an epilepsy group as well. So we help each other how to overcome, like how to speak to the teachers, how to have meetings, the GPs, the surgery, repeat prescription, how we can help and support like the parents that are going through that. I mean, my friends, family, they do understand to a certain extent, but when you're physically going through the same thing, you kind of relate to it more.
Of course.
It's more understanding. It's more relatable. So that's another group that I'm really passionate about. Like we have that every month. So that was really hard because she was having a GCSEs. It was high expectation, she, you know, for herself, because it was A stars and A.
Oh, wow.
Her expected grade. So she took triple science, but then she took PE as an extra. And, you know, I didn't push her. I sort of encouraged her to do the triple science because she was capable and then she was doing really well and everything. But when the seizures started, I said, you have to drop down on like one of the science or PE. But because PE is really science-based as well, she said she's come so far. So she doesn't want to leave PE. So it was science. She's like, Mom, can I just, you know, push myself and all that? I said, no, because then if you're going to keep having seizures, you might do much better with double science,
relaxing a little bit more as well.
And then, you know, at that time I did get a private tuition for like a few months and everything because she missed school a lot. It was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks during her exam time and all that. So that was really tough. So when the results came, she came home with the results and she didn't look too happy and all that, but it was all A's and B's and C's. I think
And she passed.
She passed all of them.
And she got into A-levels.
6 A's.
Mashallah.
And she was
Not
having
one.
seizures. So she's like, Mum, I wanted A's. I said, don't you dare say that. I'm so happy. And she's like, are you really happy? So I'm like, am I really happy? Do you know what? If you failed some of them, I would be still so happy.
Because your daughter's health was your priority.
And she was
Mashallah.
having blanks.
Oh, goodness me.
Out as well, even in the exam. She said, I just couldn't think.
Wow.
But then I had all that sorted in school as well, examination, had meeting with the teachers, examination, the one that deals with examination and everything. So it was like, have everything set.
Mm-hmm. Wow. How remarkable. Yeah. And it's just so wonderful to hear that she'd achieved the results. Mashallah, she's doing her A-levels now. Now we'll find out after the break what A-levels that she's doing. I'm still joined by the very wonderful Hasna in the show this morning. She has a background in social sciences, a passion for psychology, and we're going to be finding out a little bit more about her interest in well-being as well and mindfulness. Folks, this is the Urban Kube. It is at 10:25. We're heading off to a break. After the break, also joined by the very notable visual artist, sculptor and art activist Shahida Ahmed, who is talking to us about art as a universal language with the opening of her very, very visually stimulating full circle exhibition in Lahore. Now, folks, do stay with me and join in with all the creative conversations on the Urban Kube. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Atif Nawaz and you're listening to an Inspire FM podcast.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Kube with Sister Shamiza.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. It's 10:30, Monday, 15th of July, and you're joined with me, Shamiza, taking you all the way up to 12 o'clock this morning. Now, as always, the Urban Kube is celebrating creative journeys with local and national artists on the show. We're going live and direct on the Facebook page, so you get to see one of our fabulous guests in the studio this morning. It's no other than Hasna Mumen, who is a fantastically inspiring sister who not only manages motherhood but also is a creative professional herself. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you joining me this morning, Hasna. And thank you for sharing your amazing story of just the tests that you've had as a mother. But mashallah, you've not allowed that to kind of, stop you from nurturing the children and also developing your career as well, which is all started from home, even your Open University course that you did.
Yes. Because at that time, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, it was really hard for me to get out with Ramisa. So it was like, I'm with her at home, but what can I do that I can do from home? That time I was a makeup artist. It was before the makeup artist. So I thought, okay, I want to work with like children that have special needs. But more than their needs, I wanted to understand how they're feeling, because I knew my daughter was going to be growing up as well. I didn't know whether she was going to have a voice, whether she was going to be able to speak. So it's like I wanted to know the psychology behind children with special needs, how they think, how they feel. So it was child psychology I wanted to do. But Open University, they said that you can combine social science and psychology. That would give you an understanding of psychology itself, but it's not child psychology. So I thought that's the way forward, because there was diplomas for child psychology, but that wasn't enough to kind of get in the field. I started off with social science, combined psychology, which I found fascinating. I had lectures that was in St. Albans every month, I think. So I used to attend that. And then we had like assignments to do and everything. So I think I did get up to the first year. It was tough having Ramisa and then having a 5-year-old and trying to tackle home life. I'm a wife as well, so don't forget the husband. Yeah. And it was really tough, but that was kind of for myself, so that was keeping me going. I mean, I did have my family and everything, they were saying you're putting yourself under too much pressure and everything, you're probably overdoing it. But that was something that I had to do for myself as well. And it was from college. I didn't go to university. So that was like, a positive thing for me. Like I could go back into study. It doesn't matter what your age is. You can go and get yourself a degree, and psychology degree was something that I wanted. But then it did get too much because Ramisa's medical condition, she wasn't able to breathe on her own, so the tube came out, but then she wasn't doing well. She had to go back and forth. We had a CPAP, which is like basically air that they that she helps her to breathe. So we were in and out of the hospital with that. She wasn't getting on with that, and then my father passed away while I had my.
So sorry to hear that.
So that was 7 years ago. It's going to be 8 years in September. I don't like to really keep count, but you kind of, because I still like to think that he's with me all the time. But 7 years is a long time, but it just feels like the other day because I still, see him around and feel his presence. And then I just couldn't take it. It was just too much. My assignment was due. I asked for extension. I think I got 2 weeks extension or 3 weeks, but I still wasn't able to, because your mind's just not ready to do any of that.
And you should allow yourself to step back.
And I
think
didn't
it's so
allow myself.
Wow.
I wasn't allowing myself to step back because I was like, okay, I can do it. It's just a bit of my assignment, because I think I was in denial that Dad had passed away, and I wanted to keep myself busy, and I wasn't going through the mourning process because I didn't want to accept that he's not with us no more, because he was in my house when he had the stroke. And he spent the whole evening with me. My mum, my brother, my dad was there. It was my husband's day off as well. So we all spent that time together. And that day I can remember, unintentionally, I ended up cooking his favourite curries, and he had his last meal. And he complimented on every single dish. And he's like, you're a better cook than your mum, just to tease mum. And mum's like, yeah, she's my daughter. I taught her. And he's like, no, I taught her as well. Because my dad was always the type, ever since we were growing up, I always saw him help my mum. He wasn't never like, I'm not going to hoover, I'm not going to, cook. Mum would be in the sitting room resting while Dad would be cooking. And it was fine. So I've been brought up like that to see men working as well. My dad done it all the time. He would be gardening, he would be cooking, he'll be cleaning, he'll be doing everything. So that was a huge compliment from him. So I think, because everything happened in my house, he had his major stroke, and then they went to the hospital, and he just didn't recover from that. That was his third stroke. So I think I was still in denial, and I just wanted to carry on, and that's when I just broke down. I just thought I couldn't get on. I told my tutor I can't carry on because it's too much. It's like, you've got a child with special needs, your dad passed away, you're in and out of hospital, you're doing brilliant, and the marks you're getting are really, really good. So just take some time out, and you can always come back to your studies. And then when, months turned into years, and I kind of lost, not interest, I just thought, okay, I'll carry on. But then the makeup thing came in, and I just pursued that further.
And I suppose the makeup artistry was a means for maybe therapy for you, possibly.
It was, because that time my social worker, she was very involved with Ramisa's care as well. So, she's seen me several times, and I can remember one day she came in, she's like, you're looking really well. And I had got my new kit, put on my makeup, and I was glowing, and I said, I feel great today. She's like, I could tell, I said, it's just the makeup itself, it just lifted me up. And I thought, wow, imagine if I could do that for like other women out there, just with makeup to lift their spirit up. If I feel like that, there must be other women out there that would feel like that if they're feeling low, if they're feeling depressed, stressed. Just imagine giving them a makeover and helping them get their confidence back. Because if that could do it for me, I'm sure there's ladies out there that would feel like this.
We're going to be catching up with your remarkable journey very, very shortly, Hasna. Thank you so much for sharing this beautiful story with us, which is so inspiring. And makeup seems to be a universal language for many women.
Yes.
And I'm going to be speaking to somebody else who's using art as a means of a universal language. And she's using her passion, her conviction, and her view of the world and reflecting it on the canvas. I'm talking about no other than the absolutely super talented talented Shahida Ahmed, who is a visual artist, sculptor, and an art activist and educator. And her work is not just based in the UK, but it's also in the Middle East. She's exhibited all over the world. Qatar is one place that you can actually find her work. She's travelled all the way to Lahore to actually present a really beautiful exhibition called Full Circle. This was her first solo exhibition in Lahore, and I've had the pleasure of observing the footage of this exhibition, and it's just utterly beautiful. I have great pleasure in welcoming Shahida, who is over the phone across London this morning on the Urban Kube this morning. Assalamu alaikum, Shahida.
Alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Thank you for joining me this morning, Shahida. Now, you've had a bit of a busy journey across over the over a decade, mashallah. Your work has been critically acclaimed. It's renowned, not just in the UK, but across the world as well. So it's an absolute pleasure having you join us this morning. Now, Shahida, this exhibition that you've done in Lahore has gained a lot of interest, especially because it's called Full Circle. Why have you named it Full Circle?
I think the reason, when I was doing the exhibition, for many years, I was invited to go and exhibit in Pakistan, and it's always one of those things as an artist, you think, is it going to be feasible? Will it add value to, having an exhibition in what we would classify as a third world country? But then after having visited Lahore 2 years ago, before I did the exhibition and the gallery and the space, I really felt some sort of connection. And I came back and I decided that 2019 would actually be a celebration of having painted the whirling dervishes for 1 decade. And secondly, when they're spinning, they actually spin in one full circle. And then me going back to Lahore was where my mother was born, and then I never really went back there or lived there or anything like that. So it was just going back, as a person. So I thought the best idea for the theme and the title would actually be Full Circle. And things just sort of got together, randomly, like me going back, the whirling dervish spinning, historically going back as a UK-born British person back to Lahore. So it just sort of amalgamated and came together, and the title sort of, I think, finished the exhibition off, really, to be honest.
What's really quite fascinating is the fact that as a British artist, did you ever imagine going back to Lahore and having your work exhibited there? Because we don't normally associate, like you said, a third world country as an exhibition space, but Lahore seems to be very, very up and coming at the moment.
I think, to be honest with you, I was fortunate enough, like I said, I visited 2 years ago. I was there for a wedding, and the wedding party were touring around the north. And I went back into the Mughal era, and I did a historical tour of the city. And it really helped me a lot in understanding what history and an era can do, historically, through architecture, through art, through fashion. And I thought maybe it's the right time for me to go back. And not necessarily, I think, as an artist, for an artist, if you have a good space, you can exhibit anywhere. But the thing is, I was reluctant in the sense thinking, I'll be doing this exhibition and people don't really know me here. I might not sell my work. But to be honest with you, it was, it was an outstanding exhibition. The media, the press, the sales were like outstanding. And, it was the welcome I got. I had the Prime Minister's sister who'd done a documentary for me as well. I had Allama Iqbal's daughter-in-law who'd come to do the opening. I had the governor of Punjab's wife turned up, and it was actually quite supportive. Everybody was so supportive, and it really brought the community together, which was one of my purposes, to say that, okay, I might not be from here, but really it is a universal dialogue, and art is a method of bringing people together.
Now, this message is something that you've been celebrating across the world, in particular the Middle East. And you've also changed the signature of your artwork from Shahida Ahmed to she. Why did you want to do that?
I think, I've been in this profession now over 20 years, and I remember whenever I'd get invited to an exhibition, for example, I'll give you an example. 2008, I was invited by Imran Khan, who at the time was the Chancellor of Bradford University, and they had a gallery there called Gallery One.
Mm-hmm.
So I was invited to do an exhibition, but the title I was given was like Muslim woman or Mother of Three or South Asian. And then after 9/11, it was always Muslim or woman. And then I thought, you know what, actually I'm just an artist. And an artist doesn't really have a religion or a culture. And faith should not be a problem. But I'm actually a woman. I'm just a female. So I decided, and I made a statement when I had my exhibition in Lebanon in 2016. I actually publicly made a statement that I will no longer use Shahida Ahmed as signature, but just she.
How did people respond and react to that? And do you think this is something that a lot of women are actually feeling as well, in particular Muslim women?
I think there's two ways about it. You can use your faith and culture and gender to make a stance or a political statement. For example, if you walk in a council and it's very male-dominated, you could use your gender to make that statement to say, actually, look around, there's not many women here. We still have, these barriers. I think in an artistic perspective, for me, it was to say that, I don't want to put that stigma on myself where, I am that tick box of religion or I am that tick box of culture or I am hitting the press, mother of three, because I keep my private life very private. And when people look at my work, I want them to see art, not the person. I want them to connect with the piece because my artwork isn't about faith and religion and gender and my background. It's not about that. The audience completes it. So I think in the context of where you use your identity, whether it's your faith, it can vary really, to be honest with you, because I've used my identity as a woman in specific places. But when it comes to my art and my signature, it's something I choose not to do anymore.
Very brave and quite revolutionary, and really, I'm really quite intrigued by this, but I'm also very intrigued by the passion and inspiration behind your work. There is a real celebration of the movements of whirling dervishes. Where does this passion of the use of whirling dervishes come from, Shahida?
To be honest, it's a question I get quite a lot, and truthfully, before my father's death, I'd never ever witnessed seeing a whirling dervish or been to Istanbul to see the performance. What happened was in 2005 my father passed away, and I had a dream. And I'm not really a dreamer. My sister's one of those people who seems to have a dream about everything and anything, but I'm not really a dreamer. So I just saw this like white cloth going round and round, flapping, going Allah, Allah, Allah. And then it wasn't until, the following year on television, I'd seen like a performance of whirling dervishes, and I thought, my goodness, that was my dream, and it was the same sound. So in 2008, I actually flew to Istanbul, and that's when I just connected with the whirling dervish as an object. Okay, they do a spiritual performance, they have their own ethos and philosophy behind why they do it. And when I was looking at the movement, in the black and white and how they were floating, they seemed like they were floating on water. For me as an artist, it became a subject. So no matter what I painted or what I sculpted, I'd always come back and start doing the whirling dervish. So my first series start off from the dream state where I'm doing illustrative whirling dervishes. And then towards the end, end of my 10 years, they went into black and white, more movement. And Full Circle was a celebration of me painting them in various styles, colours, and it was that celebration of my subject.
And it's such a beautiful legacy that you've been able to share with your audience as well, because there's a real spiritual essence to your work, and just observing the different styles and techniques across that decade of work. Do you feel that you have come to that stage now as an artist where you think, yeah, right, I found my signature style now, or do you think there's still room for development?
Oh, no. I think as an artist, definitely not, because I think as an artist, you're never satisfied, like friends would say to me, why are you painting whirling dervishes? Why are you painting whirling dervishes? No matter what I did, somehow I always went back to it. Like, for example, I just recently did a series of children that I was fortunate enough to meet during my travels. Like, Nepal was the first place I went to when I met this child who was hiding his food from me in a tire.
Oh gosh!
And,
wow.
And it really hit me. This did. And then last March, I was invited by Oxfam for their charity ball. It was a gala of 25 years, and it was for South Asian children. And basically, I'd painted a Pakistani boy polishing a shoe. And because I thought, if it's for South Asian children and eradicating poverty and children working, then rather than me giving them a signature piece, I'm going to paint this boy. And as I was painting him, I really connected with the subject. And I'm thinking, you know what? It's 2018 and this is still happening. So that was, I think it was a bit overwhelming for the audience because people were paying £500 a ticket. So on the stage, I put this child, like, 1.5 meter painting, polishing a shoe. So it just really hit you, thinking you're on a table eating food for £500.
Of course.
And so the painting actually was auctioned for £20,000.
Oh, mashallah.
It was good it was very good because it raised a lot of money for Oxfam. Then later on last year, Andy Burnham's charity dinner for the homelessness in Manchester, I painted a refugee child in a box, cardboard box. And basically, what happened was that was auctioned for £7,000. So this triggered off this series of children, because as I was painting them, I was connecting with them. So I'd use a Nepalese child, and I'd put him in a light bulb. And I thought children are the light of the future, but children also are in a vacuum, in a space that's man-made. They don't have freedom. And
Interesting.
we can put them on and off whenever we want to. So I got my graphic designer, tried to see how it worked out, and the very, real-like photographic images. So I started painting those, and that's a series now that I've got together. And I'm hoping with it, it's something that's being waited to be exhibited in Oman, and then I want it to travel. But again, I'm hoping from the proceeds of sales of these that they can go back and help some of these children. And most of the children that are photographed and used are actually real children living today. So what you see is that. So
a taste of reality there.
Absolutely. So going from whirling dervishes to this, it's a completely different subject. But also I've been looking at a new series based on, for the first time, doing self-portraits. And I'm looking at myself, but taking me back to the Renaissance period, again, as a brown woman, from a mixed, varied cultural faith background, and looking at the female as a subject and how, it was always the white women and voluptuous women that were being portrayed, or it was about class. So some of the images might have the new, instead of the woman looking in a mirror, she's looking at a phone and doing a selfie, or she's pouting her lips. So just looking at the women in the world and how it's all changed.
I love how you can dip into different types of genres and styles of creativity, from spiritualism through dervishes to very contemporary, abstract light of our lives with the children. And now you're looking at, the view of a woman, comparing it to the past and present. Super, super excited to actually see this array of work. Now, how can people connect with your work, Shahida? Because I'm sure everybody is listening to you quite intently and think, God, I want to see her work. It sounds so creative.
I mean, to be honest with you, my website was hacked a few years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Someone hacked it and then was demanding loads of money. So that's still
Oh, my
hacked.
goodness.
But I use, to be honest with you, I use my Instagram.
Okay.
So if you can just type Shahida Artist or Shahida She, and you'll find me. And my documentary of Lahore, which is it was a week of filming, but it was literally done over 5-6 minutes. If you just type in full circle Shahida Ahmed or She, you'll find me. But just to let you know, I think what's another very important point I'm going to raise is that I'm basically a sculptor, and I went into painting, like I said, after my father passed away, and and the journey in art, obviously art costs a lot of money. Having a kiln, having all the facilities was a lot of money. So you have to get your priorities in balance, right? Because there's no regular income, and I really emphasize this. But I always had the passion, I had the drive, it was my soul. So I went into painting, and then this is how things developed. But recently, over the last 5 years, I've done quite a lot of installations and sculptures which have traveled around the world in museums and galleries. So the thing is, there's no restriction on media and expression and style. Like we look at certain things, you might look at a Chanel handbag and say, yes, that's Chanel. But I think for an artist, if we look at, artists before us, some of the legends, people like Picasso, if you look at some of Picasso's very old work, it was amazing, it wasn't even cubism. So there's no restriction. And again, as an artist, you go through these phases saying, do I have to have a signature style? Do I have to have this? Yes, but when people see a dervish, they'll send me a picture and say, is this yours? They do associate me with the dervish.
Right.
But maybe full circle was an ending. I don't know. I really don't know.
But you're still evolving as a woman, and each decade of your life brings out a new story. That's how I see it. Shahida, it's been absolutely remarkable speaking to you. I followed your creative journey as a sculptor, as a visual artist for many a year, and I just absolutely love every piece that you create. You are gifted, you are blessed, mashallah. We are heading off to a break, Shahida, but we're asking, it's National Upskills Youth Day. Is there any advice you give to young people or people listening into the show this morning on how to upskill or their passion for art?
I think my advice to the youth is whatever you feel in your soul and heart, there's no restrictions, and whatever you do, do it 100% and you'll succeed.
Mashallah, great words of wisdom there, and you have definitely put your soul and your passion in your artistry, Shahida. Shahida, you're in London at the moment. Is there an exhibition that we could maybe check out that has your work in it?
No, I haven't got anything here at the moment. I will be having something in London shortly.
Inshallah.
And until it's all confirmed, I'll let you know. But like I said, I've been travelling for a good while.
Welcome home, and welcome home back to the World Cup. England bring it back. What was London like yesterday?
It was a little bit crazy. But to be honest with you, it's, this is home for me, and I've got my book launch this year.
Oh, fantastic!
So that's going to be something quite refreshing to connect back home. Even though I'm traveling the world, you always it's like having your babies but wanting them at home.
Oh, bless you. We are definitely going to have you back, inshallah, to talk about the book. Now we are heading off to a break, and quickly, Shahida, the book content, what will that be? We've got 30 seconds.
It's a fiction. It's a story about a woman. It's called Through Brown Eyes. And
wow.
Very nearly going to be in a hard copy very shortly.
Inshallah. Good luck with that. Thank you so very much, Shahida, for joining us. And welcome back to Blighty. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks
for having me.
You're very, very welcome. That was a very awesome Shahida Ahmed talking to us, and we'll be heading to a break, inshallah. After the break, we'll be catching up with Hasna again, so join me straight after this. Assalamu alaikum.
You're listening to an Inspire FM podcast, making available our popular programs from our daily broadcast on Inspire FM.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Kube with Sister Shamiza.
Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning to you. It's 11 o'clock Monday, 15th of July, and you are joined by myself and Hasna Mumen in the studio this morning. And now this is the Urban Kube. We are live and direct on Facebook Live, as well as across the airwaves, Luton surrounding area, and across Peterborough Salam Radio and Sheffield's Link FM. Massive hearty salams, people. Are you recovering from the weekend celebrations of the World Cup? They brought it home, people. They brought the World Cup Cricket Cup home. It's been quite a remarkable celebration across the country. So it's been wonderful to see how unified the country is and has been regarding the win. And so it should be. So it should be with such a diverse cricket team as well. I think this is really marking what Britain or England is all about the diversity of the cricket team. Was just a true credit to the country, I think. Now, folks, it's not a sports show. It's all about creativity on this morning's show. And I've just had the absolute pleasure of speaking to Shahida Ahmed, who is a visual artist, art activist, sculptor, and just somebody who I would consider one of my favourite artists or creatives. Her vision is extraordinary. She's had such an interesting journey, and I've been following it for a number of years. So it was absolutely awesome to have her share a little bit about this journey in an exhibition that she actually showcased in Lahore. She's a British Pakistani, but her roots are from Lahore, and the exhibition was called Full Circle. She also talked about Light of Our Lives, where she looked at the lives of children and encapsulated them in light bulbs. This is an exhibition or work that she's working on at the moment, kind of, exploring the different states of life of children, really, in poverty. And she also talked to us about her new book that she's about to launch. So yeah, really, really interesting. You can follow Shahida on Instagram. It's Shahida Ahmed, and she has a wonderful YouTube video which is called Full Circle, which enables you to kind of find out a little bit about the exhibition that she did in Lahore. It's her first solo exhibition. Now, on today's show, we are celebrating National Upskilling Youth Upskilling Day. And the question I'm asking you guys is, if you could ask your younger self, give yourself some tips and advice, what would that be to upskill or make you more employable? Maybe you don't need to. Maybe you ticked all the boxes. Maybe it's advice you want to give to a young person. Would love to find out. It's 07779 481822. Now, a story that I came across was about one man giving advice to other customers, but he's a barista, and this barista basically was charging people discounted rates for their hot drinks or their drinks if they used simply the term please, thank you, how are you? Wow, manners cost you nothing, but here you got discounted. I want to ask Hasna, who's in the studio with me right now, her thoughts on this story. Now, Hasna Mumen is a remarkable sister, local sister, who has a child that has special needs, mashallah, but that her motherhood has remained strong and astute, and she's been able to get her daughter through her GCSEs, as well as launching a professional makeup and hairstyling business as well. Thank you, Hasna, for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Shamiza, for having me. I'm really enjoying myself. It's a pleasure to be here. My first time as well, but it's going great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to give you a discount. I'm going to give you a free drink now.
Oh, okay.
For being so polite.
Why not?
Now, you've been sharing your remarkable journey with me, and mashallah, you're so inspiring. The challenges you faced, and I'm sure there will be a lot more challenges you are still going to face, but the way you manage it, what I want to say is actually, may Allah make it easy for you that you have no other challenges, because the ones that you have experienced, but you've carried on. The strength.
I think
it's
sometimes
remarkable.
Allah gives you all these experiences for you to be who you are and make you stronger and understand, because I think if I didn't have those experiences, I probably would have gone back into management and then area manager of a jeweler's. I probably would have been happy, I probably wouldn't be, but I don't think that would have allowed me to understand what my real passion was, because I wouldn't have that moment to reflect. It would have been the busy schedule, working 5 days a week, 9 till 5:30, 6 overtime. So I think every experience that you're given by Allah, it's to make you stronger. We don't realize at that time, but when you go back and reflect on it, like with my second daughter, I say, like, it's because of you I've been able to take that passion, and she feels so like privileged to and she's like, it's because of me, Mum, you're a makeup artist. I'm like, yes, it is because of you, because you made me realize what my passion was, and that's what I wanted to pursue.
Do you know what? Such a beautiful way of thinking and identifying your life and where things have come from. Because we always say children bring their own risk, and there's barakat. And the fact that you've shared that with your daughter, that must be so inspiring for her.
She feels really proud to say that.
Wow.
So that's I think children, we kind of want to make our children sometime what we didn't become.
Okay.
And we kind of instill that in them. Okay, this is the way you go. This is what you want to achieve. This is what you want to be. From an early age, we kind of like put that, what do you want to be, decide. But I think we need to take a step back and let them just be. Let them just be children. Let them enjoy the time they want in school.
There is a lot of pressure on children, unfortunately. Academically, it's all about grades and it's all about the schools and achieving a certain set level and league tables and bureaucracy, where children are not allowed to be children, when they're not playing enough, creating enough, but it's all about
it's
tests.
Competing as well. So your child might not like English, that's fine. They might like art, let them enjoy the art. But we don't kind of have that. It's like you're not doing well in English, so how do we improve your English?
Yes,
you're not doing well in science, how do we improve that? And it's competing, but the child might not enjoy English, science, they might like history, and that's fine.
And do you think it's important for parents to understand and appreciate that every child is different? Because naturally there is a stereotype about South Asian parents that they're quite, they've got the whip and they really, really are quite strict and stern, and everything has to be quite, academic rather than creative.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I could remember with Ramisa, her SATs, I think her attendance was only 46%. So her SATs, the teacher says she's going to fail her SATs and everything. At that point, I thought, okay, I am going to, spend like every day with her, maybe 15, 20 minutes just to get her up, because it wasn't, if she did fail her SATs, it wasn't about me being ashamed or anything. I didn't want her to feel any different because she's got special needs. I wanted her to feel that she can achieve just as good as other children. So I did spend that time with her sort of every day, Monday to Friday, sort of 10, 15 minutes just working, because her attendance was so low and she was missing out on everything. And she passed her SATs, which was a big thing for her, because I know that if she did fail, it would have been like, just because I've got those medical issues, I wasn't able to go to school. So it was for her self-esteem and everything. But I think even for SATs and everything, loads of parents do have, it's their choice, fair enough. But I think there is a lot of pressure with private tuition.
Yes.
And the school. Then don't forget we have our Arabic as well. So
there's a lot. Our children do have a bit of a workload.
Like when we were learning Arabic, it was like Monday to Friday after school. But then we didn't have all those homeworks and everything. It was just like play, as far as I can remember. I think it was like, I used to look forward to just running around in the playground in my infants and junior schools and all that.
I had such a great childhood because I really, really enjoyed primary school. I just felt so free like a bird, and I felt I learnt much more at primary school than I did in high school or comprehensive.
Yeah, I don't remember my high school. I just remember bits and pieces, but I just remember my primary school.
Great teaching.
And the stories I tell as well. They're like, wow, Mum, you've had great childhood. But like the college and high school, it was slightly different.
I did not enjoy it. Mate, oh dear me. Gosh, folks, share your stories. Did you prefer a primary school or high school? Which did you prefer? The show is the Urban Kube. Thank you for staying with me and listening into all our conversations, but we'd like you guys to join in with the conversations as well this morning. I am joined by no other than Hasna Mumen, who is our local mum extraordinaire, mashallah, sharing her experiences and her life. And wow, what a wonderful life you live. And it's been so inspiring. Getting some great snippets from her this morning, but we'd like you to join in as well, guys. It is National Youth Upskilling Day. What sort of inspirational advice could you give to young people? Or if you had to tell yourself, give your younger self some advice about skills, what would it be? Now, we've just had Shahida Ahmed on just before the break. That was 10:35 onwards, and she shared her creative journey, and what a journey she has had. She's called it Full Circle in celebration of her solo art exhibition, which was showcased in Lahore. She's a British Pakistani artist who has really made her mark in the world of artistry from the UK to the Middle East. Hasna, you were listening into Shahida's interview, and mashallah, the conversation she was having. I didn't feel I had enough time because there's so much to talk about. But what did
I was listening.
How did you find her?
Absolutely amazing. Like, she's an artist, makeup artist, so I can relate to that because
she's not a makeup artist, but
no, she's an artist and a makeup artist, so it's the work of art.
Yeah.
So I mean, when she said art comes from the soul, I totally understood what she's saying, because obviously in the makeup industry as well, where you are creating the art, and it is coming from the soul, each individual look or your photo shoots or whatever. So she's so inspiring. It's like I need to check her out and
do check her work out, because I don't think she is as... I feel she needs to be recognised more. I think she's a hidden treasure when it comes to sort of, Islamic art. It is very spiritual.
I didn't know about her.
Okay.
To be honest, I was like, because we in the process of moving to a new house, and I want one part of my art, like the dining area or sort of a comfy zone area, I want artwork in there, and I'm looking for an artist, but no one kind of knows anyone.
Get in touch with. I'm sure there's local artists that you can get in touch with, and this is what this show's about. It's all those connections and collaborations. Now, connections is something that you're very, very passionate about. Women Connecting Women is an organisation that you are the secretary of. Now, why is it important for you to kind of be part of that? Where do you find the time to be part of something like this?
That's something, Shamiza, you got what you're passionate about. There is always time, but it's how you target your time, what you're passionate about. So it is all voluntary work. Women Connecting Women started off in 2017. There was only a few of us ladies that had the first meeting. And at the first meeting, it was like, we were discussing our passion, what we want to do for the community, our backgrounds. And we all shared the same vision. We wanted to give back to the community. We wanted to do something for the less fortunate. But then it's not just the less fortunate, it's women from all backgrounds, despite age, religion, culture. It doesn't matter where they're from. So you start off with your community first, and then work nationally and internationally maybe. But it does start off with the community. So we all wanted to give back to the community. And, it was after meetings that we actually had like mini launches. Our big launch is going to happen sometime in October.
Hasn't it happened yet?
It hasn't happened yet, the big launch.
What is going on?
Exciting things. So we haven't discussed that yet.
Yeah.
But hopefully, because we want to hold it in Crescent Hall.
Okay.
So Crescent Hall's going under a bit of work and everything.
Okay.
So we're just waiting for that as well.
Do you know what? I need to have a reunion then of all the Women Connecting Women panel in the studio just before that
I don't think you'll fit all of us in, because it's good handful of us.
I'll make it happen. I will. I'm getting a bit of a pro at this. I know how to manage the desk and all. They only give me responsibility for one button as long as I press it correctly.
That's okay. I think we're used to like budging up and taking pictures together, squeezing in. So I think we'll handle it.
There is an art to doing a selfie, and you ladies have clocked it.
Side.
It's all about the side.
It's all about the side.
Oh, bless you. Now, talking about selfies and images and the way we look. I mean, I think we're quite blessed as whilst we were growing up, we were not bombarded with this world of social media. So, if anybody had a Kodak camera or a throwaway camera, it was like, it was really marking that moment. And that was a special moment when somebody pulled out the camera. And now it's consistent every 3 seconds.
I still have my camera, but I don't use
somebody's
it.
taking a selfie. Now, what's your thoughts on mental health and self-confidence of young people, and do you feel that has it impacted the way people view themselves now, especially the younger generation?
Definitely, social media has taken its toll, and it's good depending on how you use it, but no matter how you use it, it is always there competing with one another. It's whether you're a model, whether you're an artist, whether you're just an individual, it's a good thing to have social media, but then that is leading to depression and anxiety as well, because you're forever competing. Oh, she's doing well, he's doing well. Why am I not being like this? Then your image as well.
Gosh.
Like, you see all these models that are super skinny, and then you see like the editing as well. It's all photoshopped as well.
Consistent. I suppose one thing that we can agree on here is that young people have understood the perfect image does not exist unless you add filters and layers, which is really quite sad, but at least they understand this is not real. this is an added layer of superficiality, and that is the term, it's superficial. But how do we educate our children, our daughters, in particular our daughters, and even boys are affected by this, that this is a superficial world and do not get drowned by it?
How I see it is like, well, for my daughter, I've got 3 girls. Obviously, they're different age, 17, 13-year-old, then a 3-year-old. So you have to, if you want to lose weight, to begin with, you have to love the body you're in. To start off with loving the body you're in. But then you know, okay, I need to lose weight, but why do you need to lose weight? To be healthy, to be fit, to be well. Not, I need to fit into a size 6 or a size 8. We need to lose weight to be healthy, to be fit, to feel good about ourselves. So you need to question yourself why. And once you get the answers to the why, then you're content with the body you're in now.
Okay.
And your thoughts, what you're thinking, what your thoughts, you're saying it out loud as well. Like, I look in the mirror, like, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. Why do I want to lose weight? Because if it's a dress I want to fit into, I say it's the dress that I want to fit into. I want to feel good about myself. I still feel good about myself now, but I want to be healthy. I want to be fitter. I don't want to get tired looking after my kids. I want to take them out. I want to be more energetic. So when you know the why, that has helped me. So you can be consistent. I need to exercise, but exercise and food. So I need to exercise. Why do I need to exercise? I need to eat well. Why do I need to eat well? Not just to lose weight, but to nourish my inner body, my inner self. So for the past few months, that's what I've been doing. And everything I want to do, I question why do I want to do it? And I keep questioning why, until there's an end. And then my why is the answer.
Wow. Why is the answer?
Why is the answer?
Now, I want to ask you, I don't want to, okay, I hope I'm not ruffling any feathers here or ruffling your hijab.
Should I be nervous?
Makeup artists, some people kind of, you've got the positive comments, and then you also have the negative comments like, God, I'm constantly, my feed is full of makeup artists, professional makeup artists, everybody's a makeup artist, and they, do you think they are part of the reason why a lot of young people are being, or women and men, because men are wearing makeup now, crazy as it seems, are, part of this thing, they're kind of like strengthening this thing about, you need to look a certain way?
To be honest, I don't think so, because I think being a makeup artist is your career. Okay. So whether you're self-taught and you're a makeup artist, whether you're getting trained by makeup artists and professionals in the field, it's not, you can't really say it's because of the makeup artists that people are, because that's always going to be there. Okay. And it's just people have taken their makeup skills to the next level because as I said, like even in the 90s when I was growing up, it wasn't a thing to even hire. Because it's like plastering the face, and it's not allowing the face to look that's
natural.
On the individual artist to see how you lay yourself, how you do your makeup. So that's why I said each artist is unique and different, and every one of us have our own touch.
Now, with the brides, has there been times where you thought, no, I'm not going to apply this on your face. This is not my remit. Hence, like, our South Asian brides have a tendency of wanting to be paler than they actually are. This thing about colorism. Do you understand what I mean by colorism?
I know, yes. I have had some brides, clients that have said, like, I do want to go shades lighter. Okay, 1 shade lighter, that's you can with the contouring and highlighting and everything you can get with it. But when they want to go like few shades lighter, I mean, I have clearly said that's not my expertise. I like to go with your natural colour. My job is to enhance your beauty, and I don't really, it's all fair how each artist does their makeup. That's fair enough, but everyone is different, and I like to sort of just enhance the natural beauty. Even my bridals, I like to keep their natural colour, give them that glow. And party looks as well, I like to give them that glow, that natural look. I mean, now the latest trend is your skin. So it's all about prepping the skin and giving that glow.
Okay. So how does one prep the skin?
It's, again, it starts off with you. You have a good skincare regime. Cleanser. So every day you're cleaning your skin. I mean, going to sleep with makeup, that is a totally no-no. Mascara, I have known some people go to sleep with mascara on and makeup on, or they just wipe it. But mine is like, even if you use a facial wipe, you still have to cleanse your skin. And then exfoliate 2-3 times a week.
Okay.
Some do say like every day, depending on what kind of exfoliator, but I think that's quite harsh.
It's quite abrasive, isn't it?
Yeah, 2-3 times a week, exfoliate, and then a face mask. That's something that actually suits you. Homemade face mask. Ooh. I mean, face scrub, brown sugar, bit of lemon juice. That just does it as well.
Lemon juice and brown sugar.
Brown sugar and lemon juice, lip scrub, face scrub, mask. There's so many different masks, like gram flour, turmeric, again, bit of lemon juice. Leave that on your skin for about, do you know what, I had it on Facebook. I can't remember exactly, but I remember those 3 ingredients. So you put
tips and advice, natural facial stuff?
I have been. I've not been so, because for the last sort of 3 years I was on a break and everything, and I've just come back.
Oh my! Welcome back.
I'm glad you're back. Yeah, so I do put tips and tricks on my social media as well.
And do you want people to follow you? Would you want to share your social media handle?
Yeah, so my social media is Hasna Mumen on Facebook, Art of Beauty, and then on my Instagram is Hasna Mumen. So I have been uploading like hairstyles, the new hairstyles, but I've been learning. Them. Yeah. This is a work of art. It's all about
intricate
it's like the Russian style. So that's.
What is the Russian style?
It's just a style where there's loads of like pulling and
teasing,
spraying and teasing and like getting the actual. It's like art, doing the roses as well. So there's loads of like artwork going on that, and it's just getting, sectioning the hair correctly and then pulling it the right amount. Loads of hairspray, but it doesn't feel like you've got loads of hairspray on, because you're forever like spraying and then blowing, spraying. You're literally blowing on the hair as well to get that finished look. So I'm learning a lot of that now as well.
So you're upskilling yourself as well, aren't you?
And I think that's really, really important. That's what I said. As an artist, you should never be like, I know all of it, or I don't need to upgrade my skills. You should always be learning new skills. And no matter who trains you, at the end of the day, once you start using them, they are your signature looks, because no one's going to be the same. Yeah,
it's always having that twist, isn't it? Adding that extra. Now, I'm really curious. The brides, like, how do they stay calm? Is that up to the makeup artist to kind of keep them calm and less nervous? And
your last moment, when you think of it, your last hour is with the makeup artist before you actually walk in, like, to get married.
And it's always quite funny, because I think the husband-to-be is the last person that actually sees his bride, because everybody else is seeing
everybody else is
even
around.
The photographer has.
Yeah, but then when I'm with my client as a bride, it's like I actually get them to lock the door, so it's just me and my bride.
Fantastic.
I don't want no disturbance. It's just when people are coming in and out and they get distracted, or I just want that time with just me and my bride. Get her finished, then the photographer, videographer, anyone could come in, that's fine. So it is your last moment with the bride, so it is your job as well, I feel, as an artist, to keep them calm. And you do connect with them, really, and when they know you're married as well with kids, they always want kind
advice.
Of advise.
So you're a bit of a counsellor, guidance,
therapist, and
everything.
Yeah, definitely.
How awesome. Hassan, I'm going back to a story that I mentioned about this barista who had mentioned on a billboard in the cafe that he worked at that he was discounting people's coffee or hot drinks or drinks if they use certain words. For example, a drink like that would have been, this is an American barista, like $3. If you said, $3.50. If you said, it was like, thank you, would have, and yes, please, would have reduced it by 50 cents or something. Do you think people should discount services if you have manners?
I think it's a good initiative to actually get you using those words, because it's very basic words. Please, thank you,
some people don't.
Me. Some people don't. I was just saying that to my 13-year-old yesterday. I said, Ramisa, please, thank you, excuse me. These are the 3 words that you should always use. She's like, but I always use them. I'm like, no, just make a habit of it. She's like, what are you telling me? Why don't you tell
the
my
art
child?
Of manners.
It's and we don't
lost.
always use them. So I said, it doesn't matter, even if someone brushes past you, it's okay if they don't say like excuse me or sorry. You just say sorry. It doesn't matter. So it's nice
Be the better person. And if more people would do that, we'd have less rage. And we're going to be talking about
road rage.
Yeah,
God.
we're going to talk about rage straight off this. Heading off to break, people. Join me straight off this. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Atif Nawaz. Listen to Inspire FM shows in your time by heading over to inspirefm.org or listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Kube with Sister Shamiza.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. We are in the final half an hour of the Urban Kube with me, Shamiza, and my fabulous guest in the studio this morning is Hasna Mumen. We've had some fantastic conversations about everything and anything this morning. If you've missed any of it, you know what to do. You can go back on the Facebook Live, scroll it back to the beginning because it's uploaded there. We've also got a Podbean and we are also going to be repeated this evening as well on Inspire FM. Now, the conversations are still continuing with yourselves to get involved with the show this morning, and we're asking you about upskilling. It is National Youth Upskilling Day, and if you had to ask your younger self or give your younger self any advice about how to improve your employability skills, what would they have been? I'll be catching up with any of the conversations that you've had with us on the Facebook comments page, and you can WhatsApp us on 07779481822. Also, folks, I've forgotten we're also giving away 2 tickets to the Islamic Art and Heritage event happening at Waltham Forest, which is this weekend, guys. So if you fancy winning 2 tickets to this event, where is this exhibition being held? I've mentioned Waltham Forest, London. Have I given it away, people? We had an interview last week with Abdul Malik Taylor, who was supporting this event, and he kindly gave 2 tickets away. Those 2 tickets haven't been taken, so that's why I'm rolling the competition again. One of the poets that's going to be at the event is going to be joining the show very, very shortly, and she'll be sharing some live poetry as well. So I'm really quite excited about that. Now, folks, as always, the Urban Kube is always inviting your thoughts and comments regarding the show. Tell us what you think about the show this morning, and you can do that on 07794811822. So I mentioned a competition giveaway for an event happening at the weekend in Waltham Forest, London. It's all about Islamic art and heritage, and it's quite an exciting event. And one of the performers at that event is actually on the phone right now with me this morning, all the way from London, so we can find out a little bit more about this very exciting event that's happening. And I'm sure you're curious to know who this remarkable lady is that's going to be joining me. I've had some amazing guests. The show is not running dry, and neither are the conversations. What are you thinking, Hasna? Would you agree?
Definitely. We're just talking about everything and anything, aren't we?
That's
go with the flow.
Go with the flow. I'm loving that. Loving the positive energy. And somebody else who's delivering this positive energy is no other than Jamilah L. Now, she's an 18-year-old writer, performer whose work explores identity, religion, and politics, as well as mental health. Now, she's performed in Hackney Theatre, Gnome House, Stratford Theatre, and The Word, and she actually started performing from the age of 12. Now, her purpose is that she hopes to break stereotypes and help people that don't have a voice. And she is also the founder of S Poetry, which is a women's only spoken word event. Curious, Hasna? Want to find more?
I've got my headphones on, listening.
Hey, assalamu alaikum, Jamilah.
Walaikum salam.
How are you, my dear, this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Even better hearing your voice. Now, mashallah, it's a voice I'm sure everybody wants to find out a little bit more about. Now, before we head off into the interview, how is London this morning?
It's actually quite cold today.
Uh-huh. And what about the atmosphere? Because the World Cup, Lord's cricket ground, England's brought it home. It was already here, but we're keeping hold of it now.
We are.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Wonderful. Now, Jamilah, absolutely remarkable reading about your story or your bio this morning. 12 years old is when you first began to write poetry, and you're only a mere 18 years of age, already performing at some remarkable spaces, and you're also doing a live event at this festival that's happening at the weekend. Jamilah, where did the inspiration come from at so young?
So essentially, when I was in school, they started like a poetry club, and they had a poetry teacher come into each English classroom, and so they had us write a poem so they could see who would join the poetry club. So once they put us into the poetry club, and then we started writing, and then they put us on like a stage, and then from there they started like giving us more platforms to perform.
I love the fact that from there on, they gave more and more platforms. And those platforms, and when did you start actually leaving the classroom and heading into the world of like theatre spaces?
So at 15, I'd say.
Wow, 15. And how did your family kind of respond to you wanting to kind of perform as well as like, because at that time you're kind of prepping for your GCSEs?
Yeah, my mom has like been so supportive, so she's always like me, oh, like do this event, do that event. So she's always been kind of the backbone to it.
You know what? I'm absolutely loving that. The fact that mums are pushing their girls to get out there and do this. And that's exactly what you've been doing, Hasna, with your own daughter, haven't you?
Definitely.
With her studies.
Yeah.
And how important is it for mums to take that responsibility or just be the driving force? Hasna?
I think it's so important because obviously you as a parent, as I said, like the fathers, if they're at work or they do have that support from the father, but it's the mother that's with the child. So it's so important to support your child no matter what they're doing because they need that support. Without your support, I mean, the children at the end of the day, they have to have that support from you and
nurturing and guiding them.
Yeah.
Now, Jamilah, how does your mum respond to you now that she's seen you performing on the stage? What was her first initial reaction?
I think she's just always been quite proud of me on stage because I used to be a very shy person, and I feel like me performing has given me a lot of confidence. So every time she sees me on stage, she gets really emotional as well.
Oh, wow. So you're not embarrassed by that?
No.
This reminds me of...
when I was younger, I used to be like, no, Mum, don't come. Now I'm just like, Mum, like, come to all my performances.
Because you need somebody in the audience, like fangirling you, right? It doesn't matter if it's your mum, but somebody there, right? So, mashallah, that's absolutely awesome. Today is National Upskilling Day, Youth Upskilling Day, Jamilah. And I know you're still a youth because you're only 18. But if you had to say something to your younger self, what choices do you think you would make to kind of maybe improve your employability skills?
I'd just say be more confident in yourself.
And confidence is something that you're not shying away from, mashallah, because it takes quite a lot of confidence to go on stage. So has anybody helped you develop that level of confidence? Do you go to any classes to kind of improve your stage presence?
No, I think essentially, like, every time you get on stage, you just get a little bit more used to it. And for me, like, when I'm performing, I don't really tend to look at the people. I kind of look over the people. So it kind of helps as well.
And do you get a bit of a buzz when you're on the stage?
Yeah, I get like a real buzz, and because I don't get like nervous before I'm on stage. I get nervous I don't get nervous. I just, as soon as I'm about to get on the stage, then I get that kind of buzz and nervous feeling.
Oh, bless you. Now, what is it that you actually present on the stage? What inspires the performances and the writing?
For me, writing is more of a chore than anything else because I feel like my writing should have a purpose. So I don't generally just perform anything. I try to perform things that can make a difference and will enlighten people's understanding of situations that have happened.
And why do you feel it's important for you to do that?
I feel like at least if I'm doing something, then I can say, yes, I'm trying to make a difference. Because all I want to do is try and make a difference.
And what are these differences, Jamilah? What is it that you're wanting to create change through these words that you perform?
I think it's essentially the main thing is like allowing people to know what's going on, because a lot of things that are going on people don't know about, and I feel like it's so important that everyone is politically aware.
Mm-hmm. And for somebody so young, you're 18 years of age. I mean, what do you know about the world of politics or what's going on around politically? That's what some people that are tuning in might think, that you're still very young.
Yeah, but we, as young people, we have like the social media platform now. And I feel like that is very important. So I take my social media platform and I try to use it for a purpose as well.
And you're using it in quite a responsible and savvy means, because most young people your age, I'm being very stereotypical here, aren't I, are taking selfies, but and drumming up the likes. But you're wanting to create change using social media.
Yeah, I mean, I take selfies too, but the main goal is to make a change.
Now, as a young, hijab-wearing sister, how easy has this journey been for you, or have you faced any barriers in projecting your voice in these platforms?
Yeah, it hasn't always been easy, because especially when you go to like each different show, there's always like a different atmosphere, a different vibe, like a different vibe that the people give off. And it's very difficult sometimes as well, because you feel like maybe because you're wearing hijab, like they might not see you in the same light as they see the other performers.
Okay. Now, as a young woman performing, are you inspired by other poets, female poets, or do you follow other Muslim female poets to give you strength?
Yeah, I follow a lot of them because I feel like we all need to be supporting each other, because essentially I feel like spoken word is becoming a real male-dominated thing, and I feel like us women need to get out there a lot more.
And this is a platform that you've actually initiated yourself called S Poetry. It's a platform that you launched, was it last month, where for its women-only spoken word event? Yeah,
so because I've gone to a lot of spoken word events, and there's been a lot of like Muslim sisters come up to me and been like, I really want to share what I I've written, what I've created, but there's no platform for me to perform. And also, like, a lot of sisters, they feel like, oh, they don't want to be on stage in front of like other men and etc.
Okay.
So
I think that I think that's quite an important thing, really, because there will be lots of creatives out there, females wanting to write, but it is about the platform and the environment. And if it's not, if it goes against their faith, or then they may feel restricted to go out there. So, mashallah, that sounds really exciting. So, if there's anybody listening in and wants to participate in S Poetry, this female-only spoken word platform, is it only London-centric? Is it only for Londoners?
The event itself is launched in London, but people come down from all different places in London.
Oh, okay.
In England.
And is there an Instagram page or a Facebook page? I mean, do young people use Facebook anymore? I don't know. I hear it's all about Snapchat.
Yeah, there's not a Facebook page, but there is. The Instagram page is @poetry.
Okay, so do you want to just say that one more time?
So it's just S Poetry and then an underscore.
Okay, S Poetry _ a female poetry. I'd call it a hub, online a platform really for performance. Now, I'm sure a lot of people tuning in would be very curious to find out about your poetry and what that sounds like. Jamilah, so I understand you're going to be performing a piece for us this morning, and it's on mental health.
Yeah.
So, inshallah, folks, we are joined by Jamilah L. She is a spoken word poet who performs across London. She's an emerging performing poet who's got a lovely little following. She's also the lady behind S Poetry, the founder of S Poetry, which is a platform for women performing poetry. And we have the great pleasure on the Urban Kube to actually have Jamilah L performing for us this morning. The mic's yours, Jamilah.
Thank you. It's not the gun, it's the mouth behind the trigger that so silently unleashed its harsh tongue, unaware of the consequences in the life it was about to take, years of hard work and trying almost so quickly to become nothing but a mere soul that was never noticed, until your harsh tongue unleashed its rage, ignoring the warnings of words can break you, to shatter you into an existence of a dark sky with dying stars, brightness fading, all the sparks slowly letting go. It's not the gun, but the insecurities behind the trigger The monster of self-hate slowly forming into a silver bullet that will forever continue to spread to your soul, reaching the depths of darkness you will never see but will always feel. It's not the gun, but the anger in your eyes, the punch that came before the punch line. It's not the gun, but the blind date with the mirror that always wants to see someone else, a reflection of self-hate and disgust. It's not the gun, but the fading I love you, the scars of love that were always told to be hate. You see, love was supposed to heal you, but left you with an open wound fooled by the words forever. It's not the gun, but your words of slander that will forever be tattooed inside of my skin, never letting me let go, let me go. It's not the gun, but never being able to keep happiness hiding behind the trigger. It's not the gun, it's the one that forced you to hide all of your imagination away, forcing you to believe that dreams are only meant for childhood. It's not the gun, it's the permanent tears, never finding comfort or peace. It's not the gun, it's your hypocrisy behind the trigger, never practicing what you preach. It's not the gun, but the stranger with your secrets behind the trigger. It's not the gun, but the ghost of your youth behind the trigger, seeing things that you should have never seen. It's not the gun, but the bottled up emotions behind the trigger, exploding on the inside. It's not the gun, but the hurt behind the trigger, slowly pulling it as you pulled against my heart. It's not the gun, but the mental scars behind the trigger, the understanding that you don't have to be hooked up to any type of medical machine to claim you're dying. It's not the gun, but the pressure spreading like poison, suffocation of them wanting you to be like someone else. It's not the gun, but the society behind the trigger, forcing you to be held captive by classrooms, shedding all of your uniqueness, molding you all in the same way, tricking you into believing that the only way you will ever learn is from writing essays and being trained to books. It's not the gun, but the mirror's ignorance hiding behind the trigger, your eyes unable to see your beauty, not understanding that her beauty is not the absence of your own. It's not the gun, but the word fat that came before the weight gained, a delusional being that forced you to meet Anna. It's not the gun, but sadness living inside the trigger, spreading like an infectious disease with no cure. It's not the gun, but the fading smile, the pretending to be okay, the cry behind the laughter. It's not the gun, it's life pulling the trigger, always holding you back. The thought of what's the point of a life you're not really living. It's not the gun, but the loss of faith, the loss of love, the leaving of life. It's not the gun, or the trigger, or the bullet. It was everything that came before it.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was brilliant.
Thank you so very much, Jamilah. This piece performed by Jamilah L on the Urban Kube this morning. Now, Jamilah, I was not expecting the intensity and how powerful and hard-hitting this poem is. When we think of women or girls, we don't really we always seem to associate pretty fluffy things, don't we? But we shouldn't really, because when you start writing, the power is in the pen, and this is one powerful piece and a very, very intriguing piece. I'm going to go to Hasna before I ask you, Jamilah, some questions about this piece. Hasna, you just heard this piece by Jamilah. First time, I'm assuming you're hearing her. Your
Yes.
thoughts?
To be honest, I didn't expect it to come from an 18-year-old. I mean, if you read the poem, you would think it's coming from someone who's experienced a lot more. So that's really inspiring, because my daughter's 17, so that's absolutely amazing. So proud of you, Jamilah. It's like
Thank you
So
amazing.
Wow. Well, Jamilah, you talk about mental health and you also talk about guns in this. The two you've combined through the layering of this piece. Share with me the thoughts behind it and why the two.
Essentially, it's, about like a really sensitive topic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone was about to take their life, but it's not about that. It's not just about that. It's about everything that came before that.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Now, everything that came before it, obviously the thought process, the mental health. Mental health is a key thing to actually kind of explore when you come in with gun crime. And this is a really, really a topic, or not a topic, it's an epidemic that is impacting lives, knife crime and gun crime across the UK and the world. This piece, what are your aims from writing it, and what are you hoping would be achieved from a piece like this?
I feel like mental health has always been a kind of taboo subject, and I feel like just now people have been starting to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot of people still don't understand what people go through and what they can go through. So I feel like through this poem, I just want people to understand that mental health isn't just one thing. It can be 20 different things.
There are different spectrums, and this is what I think more and more people are recognizing. I think I'm not an expert per se, but I do think everybody has an element of mental health in us that we need to adhere to, heal, and kind of like, everybody needs to look after themselves. But it seems to be the age is getting younger and younger, unfortunately, where we're recognizing that younger people are affected by it. Now, apart from spoken word poetry, Jamilah, what else do you do in your little world?
So I'm just working at the moment, just finished college, so I'm just working and performing at the moment.
Are you wanting to go to university?
Yeah, hopefully that's in the plan.
So what are you hoping to study?
I'm hoping to study criminology.
Oh, why criminology?
I've always been interested in the law aspect of things as well.
Mm-hmm. And this is really quite interesting because there's a creative side to you, and there's also a very academic, serious side to you as well. Are you going to balance the both in the future?
Yeah, inshallah, I hope to always continue spoken word. That's one thing that I really want to continue.
And do you think there's enough support out there for women of colour and Muslim women in the spoken word scene?
I don't think so at all. I feel like there needs to be more events. There needs to be more directed at women, and because I feel like spoken word is becoming such a male orientated thing, and I feel like women need to come out more, and we need to be giving the space to women a lot more as well.
Now, this space, you talk about spaces, but you're actually going to be performing at a space, aren't you, at Waltham Forest as part of an Islamic heritage and art festival. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit more about this festival? Because we're actually rolling out a competition, and the competition to win 2 tickets is actually telling folks, contact us, tell us where is this festival being held. I've mentioned it a few times. It's somewhere in London, and it begins with W.
Yeah. You
didn't give too much away.
No, I didn't give the tickets away, did I? So what can we expect at this festival, and what time will you be performing and which day?
So I'll be performing on Friday just after 6:00, but there's so many amazing artists will be performing.
So you're not on your own? Yep.
No, so there's literally so many amazing artists performing. I am even excited to go see them. And there's going to be a cinema, there's going to be workshops, calligraphy, henna. There's a lot going on I think it's over 2 days.
Right, yes, it is. I'm just getting the information up for this. So you're going to be performing on the Friday after 6 p.m, inshallah, at Waltham Forest, London, at this very, very exciting event. It's the Islamic Art and Heritage Festival 2019. It also is a opportunity for launch of lots of different exhibitions, from the launch of New Faces, New Places, Converts to Islamic Faith exhibition, sightseeing bus tours, spoken word, documentaries, panel discussions, workshops and calligraphy. As Jamilah mentioned, she is part of the performing panel featuring Alim, Abdul Karim Poetic, Shifa K, Jamilah L, Farah, Fatia, Hanifa, Healthy Hijab, Hair, Mohammed, Somali Sideways, Dr. Steph, Ian, Tariq and Anarchy. Loads going on. Now it's in Walthamstow, London. That's 1 Hoe Street, E174PH. For further information to book activities, visit the Halal Tourism Britain.com/festival, and we are giving away 2 tickets for the Friday 19th July to 21st of July for this event. Jamilah is also performing there, so you get to meet her on Friday. The event is 6 p.m. She's performing 6 p.m. Now the competition is, where is it being held, people? Where is this event being held? You've got about a couple of minutes to enter. Hasna, maybe you want to enter.
I might do
to grab these tickets. Thank you, Abdul Malik Taylor, for giving us 2 tickets for this event. Mashallah, exciting stuff. Now, Jamilah, what else is in store for you in the coming next months?
This month, I'm literally just going to so many open mic and spoken word shows that I can, even just to support others and, you know, just see what the atmosphere and vibes are like and try to like, oh, I'm also organising another poetry event.
Fantastic. And how can people get in touch with you?
So my Instagram is Jamilah Speaks.
Mm-hmm.
So just feel free to like DM me, and also the poetry page as well.
Fantastic. Jamilah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you join us this morning and performing a very, very poignant piece on mental health. What was the title of the spoken word poetry piece?
It's Not the Gun.
It's Not the Gun. She performed that on the show this morning, which was very well received by Hasna, who was in the studio as well. Now, thank you so very much and good luck, inshallah, for the event on Friday. And I'm sure lots of people are really looking forward to listening to you live.
Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. That was the very awesome Jamilah L, who will be performing at the Islamic Art and Festival happening at Walthamstow in London. So, folks, we will announce the winner. I will contact them directly when we get the winner for the show, inshallah. I'm sure we've got quite a few people who will be entering after on WhatsApp. Now, thank you so very much, Hasna, for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great experience.
Thank you so very much for sharing your amazing, amazing experience of motherhood, work, and just being absolutely, utterly remarkable. Folks, we are heading off to the end of the show. The repeat is 8 p.m. Now, there is an event happening at the Well and Wise room in the library. The Mother Monologues do come down from 11 till 5. The workshops are happening. So from me, assalamu alaikum, and have a fantastic week. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Why not tune in to our live stream at inspirefm.org and follow and subscribe to our social media platforms at Inspire FM Luton.